Hello fellow developers, welcome to Edureka YouTube channel. My name is Saurabh and today I'm going to discuss various Git commands. Let's begin guys. So we'll start with Git Init command. Now Git Init is basically to turn a directory into an empty Git repository. Now the first thing that you need a local repository to work with. For those of you who don't know what exactly local repository is, it is basically a private copy of the whole repository, of the whole shared repository that you have. And users can perform many operations with this repository such as add file, remove file, rename file, move file, you can commit changes, and you can do a lot of things with your local repository. So the first command that we are going to discuss is basically the git init command, which will turn a directory into an empty Git repository. So for that, I'll open my virtual machine to show you practically. If you are facing any issues in installing Git, you can go ahead and refer my Git installation video. There also, I have installed Git in CentOS version 6.5. So for now, let me open my virtual machine and I'll show you there. So guys, this is my virtual machine where I've installed Git. If you want to see the version of Git that you have installed, just type in here git --version, and it is 2.7.2 in my case. Now let's go ahead and create the directory first. So I'm going to name my directory as Edureka-repository. Now I'm going to move into this directory. So I'll just type in here cd Edureka repo. So now I have a directory. I want to convert it into a local Git repository, which is very easy. All I have to do is type in git init, and here we go. So initialized empty Git repository in home Edureka repo.git. So let's go back to our slides again and we'll see which command we are going to discuss next. Let's talk about Git Ad now. So Git Ad basically adds all the files to the staging area for Git. Now Git doesn't track each and every modified file. So whenever you do the commit operation, Git looks for the files present in the staging area. Only those files present in the staging area are considered for commit and not all the modified files. So the first thing you need to do is put all the modified files, all the changes that you have done into the staging area. And then from staging area, you can go ahead and make a commit, right? So the first thing is to add your files to the staging area, which is pretty easy. All I have to do is type in git add and the file name. So let me just quickly open my virtual machine and I'll show you there. This is my virtual machine again, guys. And first, let me just create a file here. Let the name of my file be edureka.py. Yeah, let me just go ahead and type something in this .py file. So I'll just type in here a equal to 10, a small code, b equal to 20, and I'm going to print a plus b, pretty basic. Save it and go ahead and close it, right? Now what I need to do is add the changes that I've done into the staging area, right? So all I need to do is type in here git add and the name of the file, that is edureka.py. So I've successfully done that. If I want to add all the files to the staging area, then I can go ahead and type git add and a period, right? So this will add all the files that are there in my local repository to the staging area. So this was all about git add. Let me just quickly open my slides and we'll see which is the next command we are going to discuss. Now we are going to see the git commit command. So git commit basically records the changes made to the files in a local repository. So you have all the modified files in the staging area. So when you make a commit, it'll basically record the changes that you have made to the files in that local repository. And for easy reference, each commit has a unique ID. And it is a good practice to always give a commit message, right? So that helps you in understanding what change was done in this particular commit, right? So I'll just quickly open my virtual machine and I'll show you how you can commit changes to the local repository. This is my virtual machine again, guys. So I'm just going to type in here git commit -m and the commit message. So I'll just type in here first commit, right? So I've done that successfully. 2 files changed, 5 insertions, create mode 100644 edureka.py, right? So this is the log for it. Let me just clear the terminal and go back to my slides again. Let's talk about Git status now. So Git status returns the current state of the repository. Git status will return the current working branch. If a file is in staging area but not committed, it shows with Git status. Or if there are no changes, it will return nothing to commit, working directory is clean. Right, so let me just open my virtual machine again and I'll show you practically how this works. All right, so if I go ahead and type here Git status, so it says on branch master, nothing to commit, working directory clean. So it gives me the name of my branch and what is there anything that we need to commit or something that is already there in the staging area, but I have not committed that. And the working directory is clean right now. So whatever changes that I've made in my file are there in the staging area, and from the staging area, I've made a commit as well. right? So let me just do one thing, make some changes in the file, add it to the staging area, but I won't commit it, right? So let's see what will be the status then. So for that, I'll create one more file. Let that be welcome.py. I'll edit this using gedit. You can use whatever editor you want. I'll just type in here print welcome to Edureka, close the parentheses, save it, and close it. Now I'm going to add this file to the staging area. So I'm just going to type in here git add. I can go ahead and type a period as well that will add all the files, or I can give the name of the file, that is welcome.py. Now if I type git status, let us see what will come. So it says new file welcome.py, changes to be committed, right? So these changes are present in the staging area, but I have not committed these changes. And it gives me the name of my branch as well. So I hope you have understood what exactly git status is. So I'll just quickly open my slides again. We'll see which command we are going to discuss next. Let's talk about git config now. Now with Git, there are many configurations and settings possible. So Git config is basically how to assign these settings. Now, two important settings are username and user email address. These values set what email address and name commits will be from on a local computer. And it's very easy to do that. Let me just quickly open my VM and I'll show you there. Now there are two things. Either I can run the git config command globally, or I can run the git config command on the current repository settings. So let me show you how you can do it globally. So I'll just type in here git config -- global user dot name and the name of the user. So let it be Shubham. And now I can go ahead and add the email address as well. So I just need to type in here user.email, and I'll type the email address in the parentheses in the double quotes, right? So this is done, and this was done globally. Now, if I want to execute this on the current repository, what I'll type in git config. I won't use -- global. I will directly go ahead and type user.name. So let it be my name, SAURABH. And I'm gonna add my email address as well, which is saurabh@edureka.co. Done, guys. It's that easy. Now let me quickly open my slides again and we'll see which command we are going to execute next. So we've seen how git config works. Let's discuss about git branching now. Now before I proceed, let me tell you that there will be a separate tutorial video on git branching where we are going to discuss in detail about it. Here I'll just give you a quick introduction to branching. So the first question is, why do we need branch, right? So branches are used to create another line of development. And by default, Git has a master branch. So usually a branch is created to work on a new feature. So if you're working on a web application, you might want to work on the card service, right? So for that, you'll create a new feature branch or any name that you want to give to your branch. And once the feature is completed, it is merged back with the master branch and we delete the feature branch. And every branch is referenced by head, which points to the latest commit in the branch. Whenever you make a commit, head is updated with the latest commit. Let me just quickly open my virtual machine. And over there, we're going to see how to create a branch, how to delete a branch, how to rename, how to merge, and how to check out into a different branch. This is my virtual machine again, guys. And let me just tell you how you can see all the branches. So just type in here git branch and it will list all the branches that are already there. So there's only one master branch present right now. So let me just quickly go ahead and create a branch. See, there are two ways to create a branch. One way is to create a branch and then you can check into that branch. Another is you just want to create it, but you still want to be in your master branch or your current working branch. So for that, if you don't want to check in that branch, just type in here git branch and give a name to your branch. So let that be feature, right? And if I go ahead and type git branch now, I can see that there are two branches, master and feature, right? Now I can go ahead and delete this branch as well, but let me just quickly move into this branch first. So I'll just type in here git checkout and the name of my branch, that is feature. And this will point towards my feature branch. Now I'm in my feature branch, right? So let me just make some changes in the files that are there in my Edureka repo. So you can see that I have a couple of files, edureka.py and welcome.py. So let me just make some change in, let it be edureka.py, right? So I'll just quickly type in here gedit. Again, you can use whatever editor that you want, edureka.py, and I'll just add one more variable here. Let that be 30, and I'll print one more value. that is C plus A plus B. Pretty basic. Save it and then go back. So in my feature branch, I have made changes to my edureka.py file, right? So what will be my next step is to add these changes, add the modified file in the staging area. So I'll just type in here git add and a period because I want all the changes that I made to my files should be there in the staging area. So git add and period will add all the files. Now I want to commit these changes. So I'll just type in here git commit -m and a message feature commit, right? So it is done now. I've done all the changes and I've added those changes to the staging area, and then finally I've made a commit as well. So it says 4 files changed, 10 insertions, create mode welcome.py, welcome.py. Let me just clear my terminal now. So if I want to merge my feature branch with the master branch now, first I need to check into my master branch. For that, I'll type in here git checkout master. Now it says switching to branch master from feature. Now I'm in my master branch. So now I'm going to type in here git merge feature, and here we go. So you can see that I've merged my feature branch with that of the master branch. It's that easy, guys. Let me clear my terminal now. So what I'll do, I'll quickly create one more branch and I'll show you again how these things are happening, because there might be some confusion still. So I'll just show you again how to create a branch, how to check into that branch, how to make some changes in your local repository, add that to the staging area, make a commit, and then merge it with the master branch. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete my feature branch, because I've told you earlier as well, once I've merged all my changes to my master branch, there's no point in keeping my feature branch as of now. I delete that branch, and there are a couple of options to do that. The safest one is what I'm going to tell you, right? So I'll just quickly type in here git branch -d and the name of your branch, which in my case is feature. So it has deleted the branch feature. Now there's one more way to delete a branch. Instead of -d, you can just type in here git branch -d and then the name of the branch. But this is not the preferred option, and it's not safe as well, because if you have some unmerged changes, then also it will delete the branch. Whereas if you type in here a lowercase d, it will show you an error that will say that you have some unmerged changes, right? So always prefer -d and then feature -d and then the name of the branch that you want to delete, right? So now I'm going to show you one more way to create a branch, which is called git checkout -b, and you can give the name to your branch, right? So probably I want to name my branch again as say new. Let the name of my branch be new. So git checkout -b new. So this will not only create a branch called new, but it will also check into that branch, right? So we have also switched to a new branch that is new. And over here also, if I want to make changes to my file, I can go ahead and do that. All I have to do is use any editor. Let me edit, say, welcome.py file. Welcome to Edureka. I forgot to close the quotation, so that's the change I'm going to do in this file, right? And then I'm going to git add period. Now git commit. I made a mistake there, so I'll just type in here git commit -m and let it be new, the name message. All right, so it is done now. So guys, this was all about Git branching in this video. I'll be coming up with a separate video on Git branch. So you can stay posted by subscribing to our channel to get the notification. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to connect to a remote repository. So I have a remote repository, the GitHub account. I've created a repository there. So if I want to connect to that repository, what I need to do is I need to add that origin. So I'll just type in here git remote add origin and the SSH link that I will just show you where you can find it. So this is my GitHub account, guys, and this is my repository, that is Git commands. If I want to copy the SSH link, I can just go ahead, copy this and paste it here. So we have successfully added the origin. Now let me just clear my terminal. So we have connected our local repository with the GitHub account. If you face any issues with that, you can go ahead and refer my Git installation video. Also, you can refer the Git tutorial video. I'll leave the link in the description box below. So we have seen how branching works in Git. Let us move forward and we'll see how to work with remote repositories. So over here, I've already told you how to add an origin, right? So git remote add origin. And what we did, we connected a local repository with a remote repository. So the Edureka-repo is my local repository and a remote repository I just showed you in my GitHub account. So we have already done this git remote add origin. So now we're going to see how to clone a remote repository. So to create a local working copy of an existing remote repository, we'll use git clone to copy and download the repository to a local computer. Cloning is the equivalent of git init when working with a remote repository. Git will create a directory locally with all the files in repository history. So I'll just open my virtual machine and I'll quickly show you how you can do that. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm first going to create one more directory. So let that be mkdir, and the name of the directory, let it be git-repo, right? And let's move into this git-repo repository. So the first thing I'm going to do is git clone and the SSH link. So SSH link, I've already shown you where you can find it in your GitHub account. Just type in here git clone and the remote repository URL, the SSH link that I was talking about. And let me show you how you can do that. And here we go. So it says cloning into Git commands. So let me see what are the files that are there now. So it says Git commands. Let me go to this Git commands. So here we have Edureka and README. And here also you can notice that we have Edureka and README. So I've successfully done that. Let me clear my terminal. And now I can go ahead and pull whatever changes I made to the file that is there in my GitHub account. So let me just show you how to do that. Suppose if I have a file Edureka, and let me just make some changes here. I'll just type in here, my name is Saurabh. So let it be like this. So let's commit changes. So yeah, now it'll be reflected in my repository. Now what I want is I want all the changes that have been made in my remote repository in my local machine. So for that, I'll just type in here git pull origin master, and here we go. So it says it has successfully done that. That means we have pulled all the files that were there in the report repository. So if I check, so I have here Edureka and readme.md files. So if I go ahead and type in gedit Edureka, let's see, all right, so I can see that the changes have been reflected. My name is Saurabh, which was something new that I added to my file. Right, so this was all about the pull operation. Now let us see how you can push changes to the remote repository. Right, so if I go ahead and make some changes, or if I create a file, let's say I create a file, touch git.py, let that be git1.py. Right, so if I make some changes to this particular file, I'll write here print I love Git, save it, close it, right? So now before we push to the remote repository, we need to add these changes to the staging area. We need to make a commit, and then only we can push it, right? So first thing, add the file name. So I'll just type in here git add. I can go ahead and type here if period. That will add all the changes made to the files in the staging area, all the files in the staging area, basically modified files. Or I can type the name of my file, which in my case is git1.py. So I'll just type in here git add git1.py. And now I'm going to commit the changes. So I'll just type in here git commit -m, give a message. So I'll just type in here remote, and it has done successfully. So now I can go ahead and push the changes to my remote repository. So I'll just type in here git push origin master, and here we go. So it says it is done successfully. Let us go back to our GitHub account and we'll see whether those changes are reflected there or not. So I'll just go ahead and run this, basically reload it. So you can see that git1.py file is added here, right? So let me just quickly go to the slides again and we'll see what all topics we have already covered. So we have seen how to perform git clone. We have seen how to pull changes from the remote repository to the local computer. We have seen how to push the local commits to the remote repository. Now let's talk about few advanced git commands. Focus on git stash, git log, git rebase, and git revert. So I'll quickly open my virtual machine and I will explain you there only. So guys, let's discuss about git stash first. So to save changes made when they are not in a state to commit them to a repository, you use git stash. This will store the work and give a clean working directory. If I have to give you an example, imagine when you're working on a new feature that's not complete. but an urgent bug needs attention. So that's when you can use Git Stash. Let me just quickly show you how you can use it. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a new file. So let the name of my file be stash.py, and I'm going to make some changes to this stash.py. I'll just type in here print stash is cool, save it, close it, and yeah. Now what I need to do is add this to the staging area. So I'll just type in here Git Ad, and now let's see the Git status. So my Git status says that we have new file which are there in the staging area, that is stash.py, right? Changes to be committed. So these are the changes that I need to commit. So currently it is pretty dirty. So what I can do is I can put all the uncommitted changes to a stash. Let me show you how I can do that. Git stash -u, and here we go. Now go ahead and type git status. Nothing to do, working directory clean. So it has converted my dirty directory to a pretty clean one, right? So with the help of git stash, right? Now the modification stashed away by this command can be listed with git stash list. So I'll just type in here git stash list. Here we go. And if you want to inspect it, so you can just go ahead and type git stash and show. So you can inspect it here, right? Let me clear my terminal now. So now I'm done. I've fixed my bug, and now I'm ready to, work on what exactly I was doing before fixing that bug, right? So what I can do is I just want to type in here git stash apply, and here we go. And now if I type git status, you can see that I again got the dirty directory back. So guys, we have seen how git stash works. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how a git log and git revert works, right? So for that, I'll quickly create a new repository. So let me do that. I'll just type in here mkdir git-log. So let that be the name of my directory, and I'll go into that directory. Yeah. So now I'm going to initialize it. So I'm just going to type in here git init. It has been done. Now I will create few files here. Let that be edureka1.py, and I'll just type in here print master new technologies at Edureka. All right, save it and close it. Now I'm going to add it here, git add, and then finally commit it. -m, just give a message, and it is done now. So what I did, I created a directory, initialized it. Then what I did, I made a file inside that. In that file, I added that to my staging area. That file has been added to my staging area, and then finally I made a commit, right? So till now, there is no problem. Now if I type here git log, let me show you what comes. So you can see that when I type git log, there is a commit hash, right? There is a commit that has been made by author Shubham on this particular date and time, right? So this is what basically git log is. It shows the chronological commit history for a repository. This helps you give context and history for a repository, and it is available immediately on a recently cloned repository to see the history as well. Now I can provide parameters here as well. For example, I can type in here git log -before and give a date here, right? Similarly, I can tell the git log to show me the commits based on the author, right? So if I type in here git log -author and the name of the author, then it will show the logs based on the commit made by the author, right? Similarly, if I type in here -before, right, and give a date, so it will give me according to the date as well. So this is how git log works, guys. So now what I'm going to show you is how to revert to the previous commit, right? So for that, let me just make some changes to my file again. So the name of my file is edureka1.py. So I'll just type in here gedit edureka1.py, and I'll type in here one more print statement that says don't just simply learn it, master it. Save it, close it. Now I'm going to add it to my staging area, and finally I'm going to commit it. -m last commit. All right, so this is done now. Now what I have to do is, suppose I have made some changes, I'm going to go back to the previous change, right? So I've made some change in my code, I've done the commit as well, but I want to go back to the previous commit, right? So for that, what we use Git Revert. So let me show you how you can do that. So in order to go back to the previous commit, what I have to do is just type in here git log hyphen one line. This will give me one line. So this was my last commit. So I want to go back, right? So for that, I'm just going to type in here git revert and the hash commit hash, and here we go. So it says that revert last commit. So it has already done that. Now, if I go ahead and check my edureka.1.py file, so it only says master new technologies at Edureka. So this is how you can even perform the revert operation just by using in the commit hash. So with that, you can go ahead and revert back to the previous commit. So I hope this is clear now. Let me clear my terminal. So now what I can do is I can go ahead and revert to the last commit as well. Instead of just typing the commit hash, if I just type in here git revert head, and if I quit, so it says that I've rolled back to the previous version of my file. So if I go ahead and click on ls command, and if I type in here cat edureka1.py, so I've gone back to don't just simply learn it, master it. So my last commit was basically revert operation, right? So whatever file changes that have been done after git revert will be reflected as a commit itself, right? So I hope you're getting my point. So what I did first, I created an empty repository. Then in that, I created a file edureka1.py, made a couple of changes, made 2 commits. Then I used git revert with the hash commit to go back to the previous commit, right? So with that, I got only master new technologies at Edureka. This one I didn't get at that time. Then what I did, I showed you git revert head, which will basically take the last commit, right? It'll revert the last commit. And the last commit was nothing but the revert operation that happened that actually made my file edureka1.py to go back to the previous version. So that was my last commit, right? So because of that, it has revert back to the last commit. This is why you can see that edureka1.py file has both master new technologies at Edureka and don't just simply learn it, master it. Right, so I hope I'm clear with git log and git revert. It's very easy, guys. There's not a lot of things to understand here. It's very basic. So let's talk about rebase now. So basically rebase is again one more way of combining the work between different branches. So what rebasing does, it will take a set of commits, copy them and store them outside your repository. The advantage of rebasing is that it can be used to make linear sequence of commits. All right, so the commit log or history of the repository stays clean if rebasing is done. Right? So let me just show you how it is done. If I just type in here git rebase master, let me just go ahead and do that. Git rebase master. So the current master is up to date. That's what the message pops up. So basically this command will move all our work from current branch to the master branch. They look like as if they are developed sequentially, but they are developed parallelly. All right, so let me just give you a better example of this. So I'll just create a branch here, git branch, say Edureka010 is the name of my branch. And yeah, so if I want to go to this branch, check out Edureka010. Yeah, I'm into that branch. And if I make changes to Edureka1.py, I'm going to remove this print statement, save it, close it, clean my terminal. And I'm going to add it, git add period, and git commit -m rebase. All right, so this is done now. And now what I can do is I can go ahead and type in here git rebase master. So it says that current branch Edureka010 is up to date. So this is how you can perform rebasing. So let me quickly go back to my slides. So we have talked about Git Stash, we talked about Git log, Git rebase, and Git revert. So by this we come to the end of our today's session. Thank you and have a great day.